contract while you're still in the school system? And how do you manage missing the days? What really happens? So I'm going to dig into it today. And I'm also trying to get connected on Instagram. So when you see me looking over, that's what I'm doing. But I want us to get into this today so that we can figure out and understand what it is that we need to know, because really you just need to understand how to make this work. So let me give you a couple of scenarios. We've had this situation happen several times during the mastermind. And so what happens is, first you have to think about what your purpose is. Most of us, when we decide that we're going to do consulting, it's either because we're planning to leave the school system, so we're looking for an exit strategy, or we're looking to bring additional money into our household. So either way, we've made a decision. And so once you make the decision, many times the work comes quicker than what you're thinking. So you were thinking that it was going to take, oh, and it's a little, let me wipe my screen. Give me a minute. Let me wipe my screen off because it's giving a blur. So many times you were thinking it was going to take a long time to get a contract. But the truth of the matter is, people, decision makers, companies, organizations, charter schools, daycares, they're looking for people who have your area of expertise. And when you say that this is what you do, before you know it, you are rolling into a contract. Okay. So let's talk about what happens. The first question is, you have to think about, what is the goal? What is the purpose? If the purpose is to go into consulting full time, this is why we say you can't become and remain. If you're looking to leave the school system and you have an exit strategy set up, say that you're going to leave the school system in 2020, at the end of 2024. If you know that's your goal, then it's a whole different ballgame what we're dealing with. If you know that you're going to leave the school system in 2025, you're still leaving. You just may not be leaving on the timeline that you set. So I want us to be clear about that. So let me give you a couple of scenarios. So you mentioned that you're doing consulting, that you specialize in, SPED or classroom management or administrative coaching, whatever the thing is that you specialize in. And before you know it, a decision maker is talking to you and they're saying, we want to work with you. Let's get this contract up and going. We actually had this to happen in the previous cohort. And so they offer you, you propose your plan. And let's say that plan is a $40,000 offer. And you're not really thinking they're going to take it, but they take it. They take it. The first question you have to ask yourself is, I'm getting $40,000 for how many days? A lot of times these are 6-7 days, at most 10 days. I think Anthony's $75,000 contract was for 40 days, but he was making 80 something thousand dollars working 227 days. So of course that's a no-brainer. Why would I work 227 days for 85 or $86,000 a year when they are giving me $75,000 for 40 days? So that's a no-brainer. But what about when it's just good money coming in? Maybe you're going to work one day every month in their school system. Let's talk about that. So first of all, you need to know your rights. And I'm going to talk to you. Look, I like to be transparent. I'm going to give you the ethical along with what some people might call the unethical. Okay. I'm going to tell you the truth so you understand what it is you need to do and how to do it. So call me whatever you want to call me, but I'm going to let you know I've done it. It works and we do what we have to do. Okay. So I'm going to give you the ethical ones first. So the first one is, I always encourage people to, if you have any type of illness, any type of sickness, or if you have a parent or a grandparent or someone who you routinely give care to, whether you're planning to leave or not, you need to have FMLA. You can have FMLA and not use it and just get it renewed each year. I had FMLA for my mom. My mom was fully able-bodied, but if anything happened, I needed to be able to go at the drop of a dime. I needed to be able to attend doctor's appointments with her and not have to steady try to find coverage, put in requests, and all this good stuff. Because with FMLA, you can do intermittent absences and you can also leave early under FMLA. So a lot of us sleep on FMLA, and I want to encourage us to look back at this. And the person does not have to live in your home, first of all. So understand that the person doesn't have to live in your home. And so a lot of us have grandparents and parents who we are helping out. And it's the simple task of going to the doctor with them, letting them know most times they're talking about you anyway. Like my mom was always telling her doctor about her daughter who helps her, blah, blah, blah. So it was really easy when I went to the doctor with her and I was like, I'm going to bring FMLA papers back so that I can have this coverage for when I need to support my mom. The doctor's job, he works for you. You don't work for him. And so you need to let them know, I need these papers filled out. We got to stop going into these doctor's offices thinking that we work for them. Oh, I don't want to be late. Oh, no. When I go to the doctor, if the doctor is more than 15 minutes late, I got a problem. If I was more than 15 minutes late, he would have a problem with me and they would reschedule my appointment. And so when the doctor comes in and let's say he's 25 minutes late, I let him know, okay, Dr. Powell, it took you 25 minutes to get in here. And I understand that you have a lot of work to do, but I have a lot of work to do as well. Next time, can we be on time, or is there a better time to schedule? Because I can't sit here waiting on you. And a lot of us are not willing to say that because we don't value our time. I value my time. And so also, if I go to a doctor who's continually late, I don't go to that doctor. He doesn't value time. And so I'm just saying we got to stop thinking of doctors as our employers. They are not. We employ them. We pay them. And so the next thing I'll say to you is always do your routine appointments. I did my routine appointments every year. I always did them at the end of the year, December 27th, 28th, 29th, somewhere in there. I would do my yearly physical because if I had any problem during the year, it would show that I consistently come to you every year for my annual physical. And if I get sick, have allergies, have the flu or anything, I don't go into the doctor. I send a message through the portal and they will respond back. And then I'll let them know I need a doctor statement. So you don't always have to go in. And now we have this thing called telehealth, which is absolutely amazing. Look at here. Y'all better take advantage of these telehealth appointments. That's where you just do a virtual appointment. You tell them what you're dealing with. I'm not feeling well. I'm feeling a little nauseated. They'll ask you what's going on. And you can tell them, I think I just need a couple of days of rest and get you a doctor statement. But you need to have a relationship with your doctor is the point that I'm making. The next thing that I'm going to tell you is to read your handbook. This is the biggest mistake that educators make. And I'm not going to just say educators. I'm going to say this is the biggest mistake that teachers make. See, we are so trusting that we believe that the district has our best interests at heart. If the district had your best interests at heart, they wouldn't have told you on day one how much you're going to make 30 years later. They sign you into a 30-year agreement. Does that make sense? And then you do get your organization does get the opportunity to renegotiate that agreement, but that's the basis of the agreement that's being renegotiated. So not a lot is going to change. I need us to stop thinking that the district has our best interests at heart. The district is a business. It's a business, and a business is there to make money. If y'all think that schools are not in business to make money, something is wrong with you. They are making money, and the superintendent is making money. They're getting these $200,000 and $300,000 contracts from upholding and maintaining what it is they need to do in that district. So I need you to read your handbook. If you don't know, there's a thing called articles of agreement. Articles of agreement, or they might be called your collective bargaining agreement. You need to go in there because let me tell you, when they bring that handbook out, when you do something wrong, that's what they're using. Hey, Tangeray. Hey. That's what they're using. When you do something wrong, they're quoting all of the statutes and everything from the Articles of Agreement. So you are supposed to use that same thing when you need to do something or to defend yourself. So let's talk a little bit about this. So read your handbook first of all. If you don't have a copy, you need a copy, and you need to understand what the guidelines are. First of all, I want us to know, like, even when you first go into that handbook, it tells you, if you look under personal leave and all of that, it'll tell you you're contracted to, okay, everybody's is different. Let me say that. But my previous school, it was contracted 15 minutes before school, 15 minutes after school, 1 hour on Mondays for staff meetings, and 2 events during the year after school from 6 to 7:30 or whatever the time is that was allotted, as well as the professional development days. Those were my contractual agreements, and those were the contractual agreements for teachers. And so it also specified a 25-minute lunch break, duty free every single day. It also specified a 45-minute planning period every single day. And so anytime they are outside of that, say they keep calling you to sub in another person's class, all you have to do is send a notice over to HR and let them know, I just want to make you all aware that right now you're in violation of statute 2413 because I haven't gotten my plan period 3 times this week. I haven't been compensated for it, and I want to know how I'm supposed to proceed. You're just asking a question. And that HR person is going to call your principal and let them know, don't keep calling them in for duty. You need to get a sub over there, because you can sue for these things. And I know women don't like to cause any uproar. We don't like to make people feel awkward. And we don't like to feel like people are staring at us or talking about us behind our back. Girl, you leaving anyway. What are you talking about? But let me get on with it. So leave of absence. And Tangeray, I know I got a call in just a few minutes. Leave of absence. You can do a leave of absence, first of all, know that. But let me go back to understanding your days. So the first thing is you typically get 10 days, 8 days, however many sick days. And then you typically will get some personal days, 3, 4, 5 personal days, for a total of maybe 10, 15 days that you can be absent during the year. But what happens if you go over the 10 or 15 days that they give you over the year? The first thing I need you to do is when you know you're going to be absent, even before you hit your maximum number, I need you all to stop telling them why you're going to be absent. This can come back to hurt you. I don't care how cool you are with your principal, how many times you talk to the principal. Stop telling your business to the instructional coach, who run right back and tell the principal. Stop saying that. So I simply say, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. My lesson plans are on the desk. I'm just making you aware. I'm not asking permission. What grown person asks permission to be off work? I need us to get this together. I don't ask permission for anything. I make you aware. I'm just giving you information. I don't tell you what it's for. If it's bereavement, I will tell you. I will turn my form in. And when I'm coming to tell you, it's with my form in my hand to let you know I got 4 days bereavement. I'm taking all 4 of them. Even if I don't have to travel out of town, I'm taking all 4 of my days. See, we got to stop trying to be nice. This is what the book says. You get what you're going to get. Because when it's time for them to get what they're going to get, they getting all they're going to get from you. Okay? So I make them aware. When I need to do something, I need to take a personal day. I have some personal business I have to handle. I don't tell them what that personal business is. I don't have a conversation. Yeah, they're going to probe and ask a few questions. Oh, okay. Well, what is it that you have to do? Some personal business. And I just keep saying some personal business, letting them know it's personal. There is nowhere that says you have to tell them what the day is. So I want to make sure we understand that. Stop saying what it is you are out for. If you have something that's visibly wrong, you're sick, like Tandra Ray says, she has the flu. She had the flu, and it took her days. I would let them know, and I would want it noted that this was the flu. We have no control over the flu. So, and now there's a respiratory illness. And of course, we're coming off COVID. Rules have changed, y'all. They're a lot more lenient now, but y'all wouldn't know because you don't like to push the needle. I told you, rules are for the masses, they are not for you. And stop worrying about getting docked or getting written up or whatever you're worried about. Why are you worried about that if you leave in the school system anyway? Why is that your concern? So let me say, with COVID and these new respiratory illnesses, you can look fine and not be able to breathe. You can be exhausted and in the bed, but not be coughing and sniffling. So nobody gets to tell you how you're feeling. But like if it's something like the flu, I would then let them know I have the flu and I have to let it run its course. So the course might be 3 days, the course might be 5 days, the course might be 7 days. You don't get to tell me how long it takes for my body to heal. And I'm not coming back before I'm healed because that's going to push me back into sickness. So understanding that, when you run out of days, so let's get to the point that you've used your days. Now you got to think about, what am I going to do? And let's think about the idea of, you got this contract that's worth $40,000 or $36,000, and it only requires a little bit of work, but yet you got to go to work every day in the school system for all these days. Okay, so sometimes we have to think about, can I get another contract to do the same thing and replace my whole salary with less time? So then you got to think about a leave of absence. First, you can do an FMLA leave of absence, or you can do a non-FMLA leave of absence. This only comes through reading your handbook. You can do a leave of absence for childcare issues. You can do a leave of absence for illness and immediate family. You can do a leave of absence for family hardship. All you got to do is say the word family hardship. Stop trying to explain. See, that's what gets us in trouble when we're trying to explain why we need the absence. I need a leave of absence for family hardship. What happens with, women who are going through divorce? I will tell you, there was a lady at my job when I was a school principal. She had been with her husband for 25, 26 years. It was a long time. It was near 30 years. It was somewhere between like 23 and 27 years. And just out of the blue, one morning, that man woke up and told her he wanted a divorce. Just out of the blue. She didn't see it coming. Well, she didn't know it was coming. I don't know if she knew that there were issues in the relationship, but it took her by storm. She was getting dressed for work, y'all. So she came to the job because that's what she knows to do. And she was in her room and she broke down and all that stuff. And so the people came to get me and was like, she's down here. I don't know how she's going to be able to teach the class because she is just a wreck. So I tell them, bring her to my office. We don't want the kids to see her like that. Bring her to my office. They walk her to my office, her pod mates, because we always work in teams of 3. And they brought her to the office. And as I had the conversation with her, my first question was, girl, why did you come to work today? Somebody dropped a bombshell like that on you. This is horrible. What made you come to work today? She said, because I'm out of days. Because she has asthma and some other stuff. So she had been sick before and she was out of days. And I repeated to her, so what made you come to work today? So I had this conversation with her about how this is major and you need an emotional day. You need to be able to deal with what you're going through emotionally. Go ahead and go home. She went home and, was trying to deal with it because, you need to call some people. You need to talk to your therapist. You need to do something. I don't need you to kill him, but you need to do something. So she went home. She was trying to get it together. And then over like the next month, things started going downhill because the man used to help pick up the kids. The man used to help do a lot of stuff. Now she doesn't have this help anymore. She was going through a family hardship. They had children who were in school. Now she has to pick these kids up from school. She was trying to leave school early to pick the kids up. The school times didn't work because he was always picking up and dropping off. Look here, it was a mess. She had to take a leave of absence for family hardship because she also needed to get some therapy as well, because this was like she didn't know how she was going to pay all her bills. They were living in, y'all get what I'm saying, okay? So she ended up doing a family hardship. And then the other thing that you need to look at is a gap leave. That's a lot of school systems offer a gap leave. That's when you are out of time and you need more time. Now you write the statement to the superintendent of schools and they can approve this. But how would you know if you never look into it? Not to mention, a lot of school systems do sabbaticals. Now, sabbaticals are normally geared towards some type of learning or training that you're going to do. And so you can let them know that you're taking a year sabbatical to figure your life out. And so that might be an option for you. But also, what happens when you're out of days and you need to take a personal leave day for like court appearances or a wedding or a graduation or a funeral or maybe religious holidays or just personal business? Again, you can take days that are not paid. They can be excused and unpaid, or they can be unexcused and unpaid. But a lot of us think about what we're losing instead of what we're gaining. Girl, look here. If somebody finna pay me $2,000 for one day and it takes me almost a whole month to make that $2,000, I'm willing to take the hit. I'm willing to take the hit, okay? I'm willing to take the write up. I'm willing to take the conversation in the office. All I'm gonna do is sit and listen. I understand your perspective. I don't have any feedback. I told you I had personal business to handle. Now, if I can tell you in advance, if I know that there are several days of personal business that I need to handle, then I will let you know. And there are several reasons why you can have personal business. So they don't have to know that you're consulting. You can have personal business just like we own a property. And sometimes we have to go, and the courts are only open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And sometimes we have to go and they will give us a continuation, then another continuation. Well, I will let the system know in advance, on this day I won't be here. Again, I'm just FYIing you. I'm just informing you. You do what you need to do because I'm going to do what I need to do. Y'all got to stop being worried about the school. Y'all need to stop being worried about those kids. I love the kids too, but guess what? Those kids are going to be just fine. The world does not end if you miss a day of school. Tangeray says mine was 7, Saturday to Sunday. Yep, that's right. That flu. Fever started on Saturday and didn't break to Friday. A 106 fever on that Wednesday. It was horrible, but she said, so that's what I'm saying. Like, so what are you supposed to do? Compromise your health? Oh, we're gonna get to this. We're gonna get to this proof. Okay, we are about to get to this proof. Let me see if I can put that one on the screen. Let's see. She says, what about if they are asking for proof as to why I'm out, such as a doctor's note? I think my job is being intrusive, trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah. And it's not your job being intrusive. It's your principal. Let me just, now y'all know I'm transparent. I tell y'all the truth. Nosy principals, when you are nosy, you just nosy. Don't think that because you're a principal, you get unnosy. And some people feel like you're obligated to be there. And I don't play those games. Like when I go to work, I'm going to work to do my job. We got to stop calling school work. When you're going to work, you're going to work. You're not going to school. Students are going to school because they are in the classroom. Students are going to school. You're going to work. And see, they use this terminology, and that's why some folks need to be in the school system detox that I'm doing on March 30th, because this is touches on some of the stuff I'll talk about, how we have to detox ourselves of this school system and this institutionalization that we've been in. So let me tell you, when you go to work, you're going to do a job that you're paid for. We got to stop all of this. I'm going to school. No, you're going to work. And those people at work are working in their best interest, and you have to work in your best interest. So let me tell you this. When they asked me for a doctor's statement, now I done gave y'all the ethical ways, okay? I gave y'all the right way, the way they say is right. If we eliminate this right and wrong way, I'm just going to say my sister work at a hospital. My sister work at a hospital. When they tell me I need a doctor statement, I call my sister and tell her to fax me over just a doctor statement. I have been known to create my own doctor statement. I'm just saying, I'm just telling y'all the truth. I'm not gonna sit on here and pretend like I've been perfect, nor am I gonna sit on here and pretend like I'm so concerned about them that I'm not concerned about me. Okay. So I want us to know that. The other know is if you read your employee handbook, just because they ask for a doctor statement doesn't mean that's what's required. So if you're not missing consecutive days, you don't need a doctor statement. You need to read that handbook. So when you read the handbook, it will say after 3 consecutive days, a doctor statement is due, or after however many. And the other thing that I'm going to say, they only can ask for a doctor statement if you said you were sick. And if you're sick, you may not be going to the doctor. They know that. But if you're sick for 2, 3, 4 days, you typically need to go to the doctor. So I would get the handbook out and I would let them know, according to this handbook, I don't need a doctor statement because I didn't go to the doctor. But in the future, I would say let them know that you have personal business that you need to handle, and use the correct terminology. Personal business, family hardship. You don't need to tell them what it is. So when you say I have personal business, if you know that you have the next 3 Mondays that you need to be at whatever, at your consulting gig, I would let them know in advance. I would let them know I wanted to come and let you know. Again, I'm FYIing you. I'm not asking your permission, that I have some personal business that I have to handle. And unfortunately, it falls on a Monday. There's no way for me to reschedule it. I wanted to give you the dates in advance so that you can go ahead and do what you need to do to cover my shift, but it's not negotiable. It's a non, I understand it's unpaid. I understand that, but I won't be here. And I would give her the statements to let her know. But you also need to understand what they call excessive absences. So typically, again, your handbook, this is why the handbook is so important. If you miss 4 consecutive days without a doctor statement, that's considered excessive absence in most schools. If you have 10 unexcused days during the school year, that's considered excessive absences. And so when they come to you with that evaluation and they have in their excessive absences, you can fight that. You can say, no, I missed 6 days. And according to the handbook, excessive absences only occurs when you're at 10 days of unpaid. I had a family hardship. I notified you all of that. So there are things that you can do, but also I want to make sure you know, if you're planning to leave, stop worrying about what the principal is going to say, what the district is going to say, what the people are going to say, and stop saying that you're sick if you're not sick. But let me say this now. I want to say, and I could be mistaken, that she might be. If I'm not mistaken, are you pregnant? Because if you're pregnant, girl, they can't tell you nothing. They can't tell you nothing. Okay, girl, you better stop playing with me. If you're pregnant, they can't tell you when you're nauseous. You don't go to the doctor every time you're nauseous. You don't go to the doctor every time you have diarrhea. You don't go to the doctor every time you have a migraine headache. So they can stop that. That's why they do 4 consecutive days. So look at your handbook, definitely. But they also cannot tell a pregnant woman how she's feeling and what needs to happen. And your doctor will back that every single time. So I also work to be strategic in balancing my days out. So if you know how to balance them out, go ahead and balance them out. But I also would say, telehealth appointments will get you a doctor statement because you made the appointment. And I just let them know I took off today because I wasn't feeling well. I wanted to get checked out. Do you think you can give me a statement? I'm just saying, once I get that one statement, I don't need no more telehealth appointments because, baby, I can make the rest of my statements from that point on. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just saying. And then I'm going to not keep saying I'm sick. I'm just taking personal business. I'm going to be docked. That's fine and dandy. But if I know that I'm working and I'm making more money, see, a lot of times we are looking at what we're losing. And we need to look at what we're gaining. If I got this contract over here that's only 10 days and you want 190 days for less than half of what I'm getting over here, I got to be willing to let this go. We can't keep our hand closed and want it all. We can't ask God for more and not want to give up anything. And so that's why it's so important to communicate and to plan, but to know where you stand in this. And so as you think about how do I miss days, I like to stretch mine out. So if I'm doing 3 PDs, and I did some PDs while I was still in the school system working, and they were not right around the corner from me, I had to do a little traveling. I'll be out on Monday. I'll be out on Thursday. I have personal business. And then when I had to take other days, again, I got personal business. So my last year, I probably missed 18, 20 days of school. It wasn't no issue because guess what? I knew I was leaving anyway. They didn't even know I was leaving. When I say they were blindsided, had no idea, no understanding, was like shook when I turned that resignation in. So it's not like anybody knew, but we have to also, we got to stop talking so much. And those colleagues who you think are your colleagues, a lot of us are trauma bonded with those people who work in the school with us. We complain about the curriculum. We bond over the fact that recess is always a mess. Like we are trauma bonded. Those people don't really care about you. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. But once you leave that school system, after we get through kikiing and cacaing, because baby, I kikied and cacaed a whole lot in the school system with the folks who I work with, you would have thought that we was road dogs until the end. And as soon as I left the school system, a couple of months went by and I ain't heard from them people since. They'll send a message every now and then. But those were work relationships. And we tend to think that they are friendships, and they are not. These are the same people who came to your wedding, who gave you a baby shower, who did all these things. That was all over trauma bonds, because we're in these abusive school systems that are exploiting us and taking advantage of us. And we're complaining we have this commonality of we're mad about this, and so we trauma bond. But if you think about, I can tell you people who came to events that I've had who I have not talked to them in 5, 6, 7 years. Have not talked to them. I mean, we used to kick it. We'll be at happy hour every month. Ain't seen or talked to that person in years, okay? Because I'm no longer at the school system. I'm no longer in their presence. And it's not just me. We talk about this all the time as consultants, how we thought those were our friends. But that's because we don't understand relationships and understanding that your principal is your superior. They are your evaluator. They're not your, like, you are independent in your classroom. And when you let them know, you're just FYIing them. That's all. It's just an FYI. And we can't worry about what she gonna do, how she gonna cover the class. That's not your business. That is not your business. And when you think that the sub is supposed to do everything that you said to implement on that sub plan, again, wrong perspective. I left a plan. If she did it, she did it. If she didn't, she didn't. I'm gonna get behind. That's not your problem. No, there are never gonna be enough days to get caught up on all of the work. So you can stop believing that now. She says, what about if they're asking for proof as to why I'm out, such as a doctor statement? She said, I think my job is being, yeah. So I would not, like, I would read my handbook and I would let her know. Like, according to the handbook, I don't need a doctor statement. I will stick to being very vague about why you're being absent. I need to take a personal day. I have some personal business I have to handle. I have a family hardship that I'm dealing with now, and I'm going to have to miss some days, and I will let them know in advance. I would not go into detail. I would let them know that it's personal. It's not their business. They don't have to know. I understand that it's unpaid. I understand. Is there anything else you need from me? Plain and simple. And we have to stop going in thinking about this hierarchy, because now you have to operate as a consultant and not as a teacher. And that's the hard part of towing that line, because the school system has institutionalized us in this hierarchy behavior, like a child talking to a mother. There's a certain way that a child speaks to a mother, and there's a certain way that a teacher speaks to the principal. Y'all, you better stop that. You better stop that. I respected my teachers who came to me that like regular people. I have a role, they have a role. You have to do your role to the best of your ability, and I have to do my role to the best of my ability. It's professional practice separated from your person. You as a person, you cannot like me, but I have a professional obligation to do. Just like I cannot like you, but I have a professional obligation to do. So even though I don't like you personally, you got a bad attitude, you got negative energy. Y'all know I don't like negative energy. You got negative energy, you always nagging, complaining. That has nothing to do when I go in to do that evaluation. If you are doing all the things you need to do and excelling, I can't hold that against you in that evaluation because that's the professional practice and not the person. And so we got to separate these principles. And, yeah, you got a cool principal. Yeah, you talk to her. Yeah, you speak to her because she's a regular human being. She goes home and takes her shoes off the same way you do. She sleeps just like you do. And so we have to separate some things at work because, again, it is work. You're not going to school. And so I hope this has helped somebody. And I really want us to think about what it is we're giving up and what it is that we're gaining. And when you think about what it is you're giving up, if you know that you're planning to leave the school system, why is it so hard if it's not on the timeline that you set? If you said, I'm leaving in May and you end up leaving in March, why is that so hard? If you said, I'm leaving in 2025 and you end up leaving in December of 2024, why is that so hard? It's because you had not planned and you had not been preparing yourself emotionally to leave the job, because it is like a breakup. It is like grieving. You have to go through the grieving process, all 7 stages of it, in order to really be done with it. And a lot of times we wait too late to try to go through the process. But what I will encourage those people who actually have contracts that are lucrative and you know that you can get another contract, stop being worried about what is going to, are they going to write me up? That's okay when you go to another school, if you need to go to another school system. Why are you worried about that? There are this teacher shortage just so bad right now. It's crazy. They'll hire you with no degree. They'll hire you with no certification. They will hire you. They don't care what that previous school say. Because and you can always tell them, at my previous school, I had a family hardship and I had to leave mid-year. What's wrong with that? Everything is fine now. I didn't want to do it, but my family had to come first. Done. So we got to stop overthinking this, and we have to stop being so obligated to the school system that we have no loyalty to ourselves, our goals, and our dreams. So that's all I got. I ain't got no more because I got a call I'm already late for, but I thought it was important to come here and share this, and I hope this helps somebody. Y'all go out here and get these contracts. Stop letting people hold you back from your dream. Stop being scared. Be willing to take the consequences. For every good, there's a bad. If you got to take a write-up, be okay with it. Be okay with it. What you gonna do? Sign the write-up, be okay with it. But I would definitely say read your handbook. A lot of times there are keys in the handbook, and when you shoot it back to them, they're like, oh yeah, she know the rules. But they know that most teachers don't read their handbook. You need to get the handbook out, you need to highlight it, and you need to tag your sections so that you know what it is you can do. You can ask for a leave of absence, you can ask for a gap leave, you can ask for a sabbatical. Form these relationships with y'all doctors. Stop letting them doctors think that you work for them. Get your FMLA leave. Let's get our FMLA leave. And then for some of us, we even talk about short-term disability and long-term disability. You paying the insurance, why not use it? You got short-term disability in your insurance and you need to take it. Y'all better read them policies and understand, because I've taken short-term, I've taken long-term, I've done sick days, I done got notes that I needed the wrong way. I've created notes that I need. You look here, y'all know y'all resourceful and know what to do, because I'm not gonna get on here and pretend like I was perfect, because I wasn't. But I tell you who I'm loyal to. I am loyal to Chanel DeBose. That's who I'm loyal to. And I'm loyal to this family that I got here. I'm not loyal to a school system that barely pays me, that I got to rob Peter to pay Paul. Y'all stop playing with me. Some of y'all need to be in this school system detox so I can help y'all to navigate coming out of that school system so you can get your life and live the life of your dreams. I'm gonna